Hello, and welcome to another episode of This Is Our Year. I'm your host, Michael Kurland. Joining me, as always, my co-host, Dougie Fresh Douglas. How are we doing today?
We're doing great, Mike. We're tired. We've been through a lot, but we're doing great, aren't we?
We're doing great.
Mets.
Let's go Mets. So, I'm not going to do this 2 weeks in a row before we get into anything else because I got a lot of questions for you. And I also have an observation for you, which leads me, we'll like tease it a little bit. It means you should never go to another Mets game ever again for the rest of the year.
I think we're in agreement.
Okay.
But yeah, before we get to that, let's crack a beer to commiserate Max Scherzer and these guys are really good. So I'm glad I kind of ran into them a week ago with a variety pack. This one in particular is Green State Lager out of Zero Gravity Brewing. So these guys do a great job. I mentioned variety pack, so there's a couple IPAs with this as well. And I think a Pilsner was in there, double IPA. So anyway, from the Green State Zero Gravity, highly recommend if you're into craft beers, and as I am. And
where's that out of?
Cheers,
everyone. Is that out of Vermont? Is that why?
Yeah, it's. I believe it's Burlington. So
that makes sense. True to the name.
I mean, so yeah, we. I've been doing so much Connecticut, so I'm trying to like expand a bit here, and
let's give the audience what they want. Let's give them some new places, new breweries. I like it.
I know you're not drinking, so cheers to whatever you got over there.
I'm going with La Croix.
La Croix.
Beach plum. I don't know what the fuck a beach plum is. I've never had a beach plum.
I think when you drink one, you turn into one. So you got that going for you.
Pumpkin at midnight. Cheers.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, I'm actually almost a month into my alcohol-free journey. It's getting easier, to be quite honest. I actually did a New York trip with you to CitiField and had 2 non-alcoholic beers, which are the only 2 non-alcoholic beers I've had during this entire alcohol-free journey. Yeah, and they were shitty. I don't need to drink that again. It was basically a Coors Light with no alcohol, and I don't drink Coors Light to begin with.
What's the point at that point? Like, if I'm teetotaling, I'll just skip it.
Right.
So
yeah, it's been good though. I mean, I don't know if the audience that watches us on YouTube, all like 13 of you, has noticed, but I look.
Cheers to you, by the way.
Thank you. I look refreshed. Oh, cheers to the audience, not to me.
Not to you, Mikey.
Fuck me. I look refreshed. I look younger. I don't look 43 anymore. I look like 37. So
you also look like you live in LA, unlike me, and it's it looks like it's winter again today. So we did get two sunny days in a row. We got that going for us.
Yeah, that's why I moved 8 years ago, Douglas. We talked about this while I was in town. I just, we got. Let's talk about that. We went. So me and Doug shared an intimate evening at CitiField to watch Max Scherzer pitch on Friday night against the Mariners.
Intimate evening with 35,000 of our closest friends. It was a rocking house.
It was a rocking house. Everyone stayed to the. I will say, everyone stayed to the last out. It was a 2-1 game, so that's not crazy to me. But I mean, I can't remember the last time I stayed to the last out of a game in the rain. It was raining. It was like not pouring, but it was drizzling. It was a fucking miserable night. At least for this California.
The ball was not flying. Yeah, it was. It was kind of a classic early season game in Flushing, right? And God, they got off to a great start, right? First inning.
2 runs. 1 run in the first inning.
Right. Should have had more.
Should have had more. Couldn't get anybody home from third with less than 2 outs, which was annoying. It was like shades of last year.
And then the bats just went to sleep.
And it's not that they went to sleep. We had Scherzer on the mound. He pitched a fucking gem. Had a couple hit batsmen and walks that got him into trouble. That's where he gave up his run. Drew Smith, same thing. 2 walks back-to-back to start the 8th inning, I believe it was. Yep. And we lost 2-1. But the biggest problem was that we couldn't touch this junk ball lefty. No. I mean, I don't know who Marcos Gonzalez is. I'm not really up to the Mariners. But he was throwing 88-mile-an-hour sinkers and a bunch of fucking crap. I don't think he touched 90 on the gun once, and we just couldn't get the ball in play. And it was like a like a really heavy, low-hanging fog, so it was moist. The ball was not going anywhere. Pete just missed a home run. I mean, it probably would have. It would have been a home run, I think, any other night. I think with the new balls and the weather at Citi that night, that's what kept that from being a tie game. But it was just I left that field so angry. I flew across country to watch Max Scherzer pitch, and I got a 2-1 fucking pitcher's duel with Marcos Gonzalez and no runs after the first inning. And to top it all off, from my point of view, you were enjoying your beverages and you were having a great old time, and so was our entire fucking section, and they were loud and annoying, and I was like, I just wanted to turn around to the one guy that was sitting behind us that kept screaming, and I wanted to tell him to shut the fuck up, but then I recognized that it was the ghost of Christmas past coming to visit me and saying, this is what you used to do to other people when you were
That was karmic redemption.
It was
karmic redemption. I didn't know where you're going with that, so I'm glad that's how you ended that statement. And you saw me when I think there was like some kind of inning double play in like the 7th or something. I had a couple of beers. I turned back into 25. I turned around and high-fived those motherfuckers. Because again, it's just a great scene at Citi this year. It's a different vibe. I hadn't been there since 2019. Obviously, no fans last year. I didn't make it down no fans 2020. Didn't make it down last year, but it's night and day compared to some of the Wilpon years that we're used to, and almost like an 80s vibe. That's maybe the only thing I can compare it to. So the Mets are back, baby. But maybe I shouldn't go back.
Yeah, so
Douglas, at least when Max Scherzer is pitching, if he ever pitches again.
So Douglas, you went to the game last night, right?
I was at the game last night. Still a little sleepy. Another late night ride home. Stayed till last out. Had a great time there with my girlfriend and my sister and her husband. So, God, it was a great night. But yeah, middle of the 6th, just innocent inning, or was it the 5th? I don't remember. And,
6th. It was the 6th inning.
Yeah. So did you watch the game?
I watched like the repeat. We were out. We have a wedding this weekend to go to, and Alex is 4 months pregnant, and nothing fits my wife right now. And God bless her little soul, she asked me to go dress shopping with her, and I figured it was my duty to do so. So I did.
we salute you. So,
right.
You watched the replay, but I guess I don't have to tell you. I was going to ask you how the booth reacted, but once we saw him kind of just walk off, and it was a 1-1 count. It was like the middle of the at bat. So, we were once again. There were by the way, I was sitting right next to the annoying kids this time instead of them being behind us, which I was fine with. They were great. Again, great fans in New York, and there's a lot of Cardinal fans there too, actually, and there's a lot of back and forth. But as soon as Max walked off, everyone pulls out their phones. Everyone's looking at Twitter, and we realized that you guys watching on TV and Gary, Keith, and Ron are trying to read lips, like what Jeremy Hefner say, what Max Scherzer say. We saw all kinds of theories. It went from like, oh my God, it's catastrophic elbow to maybe it's not bad, maybe it's his back. Obviously, we find out today what it is, and it's not good. It's not good at all. It's
not good. Well, that's what Hefner said. And I'm pretty good at reading lips, and he came out and he said it's bad. It's really bad. And I didn't need to divulge that. It was figured out by Twitter before I had to even have a chance to look at it. But what is it? It's got a mid-level lat strain on his left side.
Oblique, I believe, or is that the same thing? And they said no. They said mid to high grade, which is really not what you want for like a 38-year-old pitcher, right? So, 6 to 8 weeks. We'll see that about that timetable. Like he's in a race with Jake, I guess, if that guy's ever coming back now. And it's a huge blow. But just to make it personal, I went to 2 games in 5 days, 2 Max Scherzer starts. First one he loses for the first time, or he gets the L for the first time in a year, right? Almost a year.
Yep.
And the second one, now he's on the DL for 2 months. So
don't go to any more games, or at least don't go to any more Max Scherzer pitched games.
Yeah. I might have to go to like bullpen games or Trevor Williams or whoever, Trevor Cahill. I think they're trying to resurrect from the dead now.
Yeah, is that what we did today? Did we sign Trevor Cahill?
Apparently, it was like an under the radar signing from like a few weeks ago, and they've been trying to stretch him out in like the development complex. So like, yeah, it might be a while on him. But yeah, man, so Max is down. They smacked the Cardinals last night. I don't know I guess you were stuck in traffic. You didn't see the walk-off today.
I heard. I got text messages. I know Pete hit a 10th inning walk-off, and we took
just a majestic shot, like right by the Delta Club or whatever they call it out in left field. After the Cardinals battled back, it was another great game. And man, like when we first started doing this pod and making it a weekly thing, I was like, wow, are we gonna have enough stuff to talk about with just like the Mets during the summer when that's the only team that's active? And it's like almost too much, right? Mm-hmm. With this team, this has been a wild first quarter of the season, to say the least. So
we're through 40 games. We're 26-14. We've only lost one series, which was to the Mariners.
Right.
We've tied one to the Braves, and we've won every other series that we've been in. That's amazing.
Incredible.
We're playing 650 baseball, which is pretty much on par with what we just said. 667 baseball or better is 2 out of every 3. The only team better than us, percentage-wise, in the National League is the Dodgers. They're 25-12. They played a few less games than us.
Right.
And we're 6-4 in our last 10. We've won 2 in a row. We got a 44 run differential on a positive note, which the only team better than us at that is also the Dodgers. So we're cleaning up against our division. This is going to be a test with Max out, but we got Peterson. Thankfully, we've got some depth with Peterson, and now we got 2 rotation spots to fill. So
yeah, I mean, we can't forget McGill going down. I forget when that happened.
That was on Monday. That was right after he got shelled. He got put on the list on Monday this week.
Again, like it's just there haven't been too many dull days with the Mets, right? And all of a sudden, a lot of pressure on Cookie in Taiwan. Obviously, you mentioned David Peterson's done a nice job so far. Do you think Williams just jumps in
to the rotation?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think with Cahill, if he's stretched out, that's a guy. He used to be he's good for 5 innings. Although I hate the way he throws. I never knew how his arm hadn't fallen off.
Speaking of junk, right?
Right. But hey, if he can get us 5 innings for a couple weeks, we're probably, like you said, it's a race between Jacob and Max to come back, and they're both not probably coming back till after the All-Star break. So we're probably going to be with, hopefully Tyler's back, by the end of next week. And that's Peterson, Tyler, Carrasco, Walker. Am I missing someone? Oh, and Bassett.
Bassett, of course.
Yeah, and that's a serviceable rotation. If we got to get a spot start from Williams in the next week or two, or two in the next week or so, I think they can survive. They're going to play Colorado this week, which they're a 500 team. We never do great in Colorado, but I think that we are a different team this year. So I think we can take 2 out of 3 from Colorado. Then we got to go play San Fran in San Fran for 4. And
always tough.
That's going to be a tough series for sure. Even though we took them in the beginning of the year, they're still playing great baseball. Since that series, I think that was definitely a downstroke for them, and they're pretty much the hottest team in the National League right now. So that'll be a tough one. But I want to talk about what came out yesterday on ESPN with Buster Olney, and I don't know if you saw his little insider report or whatever you want to call it. But he basically said Cohen is not going to be denied this year because of resources. And he will take on, we don't have the ability to trade a first-round draft pick at this point because we haven't even had the draft yet. We'll be able to do it by the trade deadline at the end of the year because it'll, once you get them in-house and they're signed and whatnot, you can then trade them, I believe. Or no, we didn't have a pick. That's right, because we picked Rocker last year. We didn't sign him, so we don't have any top prospects. We had traded Crow Armstrong, who was our pick 2 years ago. But what we do have the ability to do is take on some teams' shitty contracts. And he was talking about how he's willing to take on Jason Hayward from the Cubs, who are toiling along and in the middle of a rebuild. And he's willing to take on Mike Moustakas from the Reds, who are not even trying to rebuild. They're just full-on tank mode. So there are some players on both teams that could be assets to the Mets, pitching and also hitting, which Moustakas I don't even think would be a bad thing to add for him to have some competition with Escobar at third base, because Escobar has still been icy.
Yeah, probably not. Escobar's still fighting it. I mean, he hit a bunch of line drives today. It might be a matter of time. It might not, though.
He had a home run the other day. He's hitting the ball again. I mean, he wasn't even touching the ball last week. So I can see a universe where we pick up a bad contract to get something of something. So
that's very interesting. The first team you think of is the Reds. Even Gary, Keith, and Ron were talking about that today. What I don't recall though is if Luis Castillo. I don't think I think he's hurt, right? So you're talking like maybe Tyler Mahle. I think that's how you pronounce his name.
I think Castillo is the guy that they want to trade. He's the one that's got the most value. And yeah, I don't think he is pitching right now. I do think you're correct. He is hurt. So Other than that, I don't know who is of any worth on their team to pick up. And if you take a look at their team, they have Matt Reynolds, former Met utility guy that's now 31 years old. They have Albert Almora, who was our backup center fielder last year. I don't know.
Who made a couple of ridiculous catches and absolutely nothing else. But
And then they have Brandon Drury, our pinch hitter extraordinaire, who I'm pretty sure is their starting third baseman. I'm not sure how that's going.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, the times are tough over there.
They did it to themselves. They don't want to pay. They traded everything they had away except for Castillo.
No, and they're the team with that president who just absolutely challenged the fans on opening day, and that's something you don't do, right? So, yeah, it's time to blow up everything over there. I like it. As you mentioned, we're a little low on pitching prospects. I think Calvin Ziegler would be number one at this point, unless I'm forgetting someone.
Yes, he's our top pitching prospect. That is correct. But we do
have like Mike Vassell down there, I believe.
Well, we have Mauricio, we have Beatty, we have Vientos, and we have Alvarez. Alvarez isn't going anywhere, but I
would not trade Beatty either.
I wouldn't as well, but I think we're in a place where it doesn't matter about these guys other than Alvarez, because I don't think any of them are. I think Beatty, I think Mauricio will be good at major leaguers. I think Vientos has the possibility to be a decent major leaguer, but they're not helping us this year, and it doesn't matter. None of it matters. And then I don't know if you also saw Dom came out yesterday. Did you see his comments?
No, actually I didn't. No.
You were at the game. Dom came out to Newsday right before the game yesterday or whatever, and basically said, "I love the team. I love New York. I love everything that's going on here, but I would also love to be in a place where I'm playing every day." Yeah. That's the second time he's.
I mean, can you blame the guy, right?
Well, he's not lighting the world on fire when he does get the time to play, and he's getting platooned in there. I mean, I think Showalter is doing a wonderful job of putting in Alonso, and now that Cano's gone and that waste of space is off the team, I think he's doing a good job of getting Dom his at-bats. And he's not playing every day, but he's probably playing 4 days a week. And probably 2 of those days he's playing first base. So I don't understand what the rush is. You want to go to
I didn't realize he was still upset. I figured Cano would solve that problem, the Cano release. I mean, without these injuries, I love JD and Dom switching off.
Right.
Every day, it's perfect. Lefty righty. I would hate to see Dom go. I think a lot of us would, but you do make a good point. I mean, at this point, we're hoping for the best version of him, but we haven't seen that very often.
No.
At least in the last couple of years.
No, and not since 2020, right? When he led the league, or he's second in the league in doubles, but
right. And JD looks fine. Got to give a huge shout out to McNeil. I think like over the off season, you and I were talking about the three of them. McNeil had a down year last year too. He's back. You can't get him out of the lineup.
Nope.
And
I was ready. I was down on him too. I was ready to kick him to the curb.
And I disagreed. I was like, hey, you got to hold on to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Jeff Kent Part 2 or something. I'm not saying he's going to put up Jeff Kent numbers in his career, but I would hate Justin Turner. I just hate to see him go somewhere else and thrive.
Right.
Plus, you didn't see it, but he made some ridiculous plays in left field today. He's a maniac. You just got to love this guy. He fits in so well. So, but back to the trade market and Cohen's words especially. It sounds like the LA Rams model, right? Like
fuck your
fuck it.
picks.
We're going for it, right?
I think you got to this year. You got who cares? We're already in the luxury tax spending or whatever it is. So go get whatever you got to get. Take on a shitty contract and then figure it out next year. Like this team is playing very well. They've got they've had a no-hitter this year. They've had a couple of huge comebacks. They're playing 667 baseball or pretty damn close to it. And I think they will. I have no doubt in my mind that we will not be sitting on our hands at the deadline or leading up to the deadline. And I think this Max injury just accelerates. Epler's probably working the phones, and I don't know what's out there at the end of May. I don't know, besides the Reds, who is actually like, we're out of this and we're not trying to compete this year. Looking at the standings real quick.
Yeah, you got 3 teams that are on pace for 100 losses. Which I believe is Oakland, Cincinnati, Detroit, KC, Baltimore, even the Nats.
Yeah, the Nats. And the Nats are talking about trading Soto this year. Oh, man. That's
insane.
I don't know what it would take to get our hands on Soto. And I don't know if they would trade him inter-division. But
would that be the only guy you would trade, say, Alvarez for?
But do they even want Alvarez? I mean, I'm sure they want Alvarez, right? Because they got.
Oh, I'm just.
Yes, I would trade anybody on our team, any of our prospects, if Soto was a chance, right? Anybody, I'd give him Dom and Alvarez and whoever. But I just don't know. I don't see a world where the Nats are going to trade Soto interdivision to the Mets.
Yeah, what?
They don't. I guess he's a Boris client. He's got one more year of arbitration, which is next year, and then he's a free agent. The Lerner family is trying to sell the team. Rizzo,
he's unrestricted after next year?
Dude, he came
Has
up
he
at
been
19.
around that long?
He came up at 19, yeah.
I feel like he's still like 21, 22.
He is. He's 23, but he's been in the majors for 4, and so this year will be, I think this will be his 4th or 5th year, and next year will be his 5th or 6th year, whatever that is, right? So he's already he's already gotten through all his years, so and he's a Boris client, so he's saying he won't sign any kind of deal. And why the hell would you sign a long-term deal with Washington right now? They are not very good, and they don't look like they're going to be good anytime soon. And he's probably their best hope at replenishing that minor league system, even though, as we all know, when you make a big deal for a player like that, you never get a fair market value in return.
No. And it's astounding to see what's happened to that franchise. They got their ring and just turned into the Reds, I guess.
I don't know if ownership. Like I said, ownership's looking to sell. If they're looking to sell, maybe they're just not putting the resources into the team anymore. But
that's what you do. You slash when you're shopping the team. So
right.
Hey, we'll take it. But I think you're right. There's no way Soto comes here.
That's a pipe dream.
That's incredible. I think you're right. They go out and I think they have to get someone. You can try to tiptoe through with Williams and whoever Thomas Sapukis is there, or however you say his name. Jose Buto's on the 40. We're running out of pitchers though. So.
Yeah, seriously. And we got a bunch of guys. I will say the good thing is at least DeGrom and Tyler and Max. It's not season ending. None of them are season ending.
Well, so. It is the Mets, so.
I'm
very agnostic.
I would like to say this. We didn't have this issue last year other than with Jake, right?
Jake.
But last year was just it was kind of, I want to say like a kind of getting rid of the Wilpon shit and still
they were still shaking off that era.
And they still had, they had Sandy, it wasn't Epler, so it was this weird, like, we had 3 GMs who were all like getting DUIs and sending dick pics to whoever. So it was still a fucking
last year was a fucking mess.
It was still it was still a Wilpon Met year, right? Yeah. So I think Sandy was still controlling the message, and I think that when Jake went down, they didn't give any updates. They were trying to get him back. They weren't sure what was going on, and I think by the end of the year, the team had fallen apart, and it was just like
they stopped hitting in July, like right when they got Baez, and Baez did fine actually. Baez kind of raked, but yeah,
yes, he did. I would have liked to have signed him. Not gonna lie, but more so because it seemed like a sunk cost that we made a deal just to make a deal for the fans. So I think last year was more to like quell the fans, try and get people to keep coming to the park, blah 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 blah. Right? It was more money last year, but I think this year, I don't know. I think they're giving us real updates. I don't think it's the same old Mets. I think 6 to 8 weeks is what Scherzer's going to be out for, and he's going to want to come back. I think DeGrom is chomping at the bit to get back in the saddle, and
Well, look, he wants to get paid.
Yep.
And he's still signaling to opting out, right? So he has a lot of incentive to get his ass back.
He's going to opt out regardless, and I think we're going to re-sign him regardless. I think that's just semantics. But,
you think regardless they resign? If he doesn't pitch at all this year, you think we resign him?
Yeah, well, I don't know if he doesn't pitch at all this year. Does he opt out? Right? Because then, that doesn't make sense to me. But I think if he comes back on the timeline that he's saying he's going to come back, he's definitely going to pitch, and he's going to pitch the way he's been pitching his whole career. And I don't see why he wouldn't re-sign. He just wants more money, right? Because he's got a new owner now. That if I had to guess, DeGrom's contract has a lot of deferred money in it because the Wilpons gave him that contract.
Oh, no doubt.
So now he's got an owner that doesn't need to defer him money till like 2029 or 2059, and who probably wants to get that upfront money that he didn't get the last time. So,
like, the only thing I can think of, and this is just baseless speculation because he's from North Florida, is that he just wants to take his family down to Atlanta or something like that.
I don't want
to start that.
I don't buy that shit. That used to be a thing, when John Olerud left to go to the Mariners, right? Because he wanted to be home.
Remember Mike Hampton and the Denver Public Schools or whatever?
Yes, I do. That worked out real well for him.
He got his money.
He got his money, and he was never the same again. But I think that Jake loves New York. I think he loves this organization. He signed once with a shitty ownership. Why wouldn't he sign a second time with a good owner that's willing to spend money and make this team, win that ring? I mean, where's he got a better chance to go get a ring? I'm sure he could go anywhere he wanted to go if he leaves and he comes back healthy at the end of the year. But why? I don't know why we wouldn't want to re-sign him and why we couldn't re-sign him. It's not the Wilpon Mets.
And I think Stevie would fight tooth and nail to keep him here too. Absolutely. Unlike some other owner we had.
Right.
Zach Wheeler.
Right.
So, I don't know. Like, I'm looking at the Washington pitching staff right now. No one's jumping out unless you like Tanner Rainey.
Nope.
Baltimore,
Nope.
Not really.
Nope.
I think John Means is hurt.
Nope.
Detroit spent that money on Baez. They're shit in the bed.
Yep. And they got AJ Hint. What's the Houston manager? Isn't he still the manager?
Well, he was suspended, right? So now he's back in the bigs, piloting a team to a 13-25 record. So, whoops. And then there's our pals out in Oakland. But again, unless you like Frankie Montes, who's sporting a 3.67 record, that might be a guy.
Yeah, and it says, I'm looking up online right here, like Castillo, I think he might be on the IL, but I don't think it's anything major because he looks like he pitched recently. And it looks like Molly, the guy you talked about, is linked to the Mets as well. So Reds are open to discussing Luis Castillo, Tyler Molly deals. If we could pick up Tyler Molly and Mike Moustakas and we can give them back nothing, and we just have to pay that money, I'm happy to do that. So,
is that how it's pronounced, by the way, Molly? I never said it. Yeah, I like that one better.
Yeah, I like that song by
I think I said Maley.
Tyga. Molly.
You know me, a huge Tiger guy.
Yes.
What's also interesting is that Gary, Keith, and Ron mentioned, they were talking about this too. They mentioned Boston needs a first baseman.
And they're terrible this year. They're on pace for 100 losses.
They're shitting the bed, and they mentioned specifically Nick Pivetta. I think I would like that pickup a lot. If that's the Dom deal, that's the Dom deal. Fine.
Yeah, hey, if we can get ourselves a guy with some control that can come in and
just
pitch,
eat some innings, man.
Yeah, eat some innings and be just league average right now, right? Because I don't feel comfortable with Taiwan as a guy that I can count on every fifth day. He
just
injured.
Blows up.
He's been injured more often than not. Carrasco is finally healthy. How long is that going to last for? He hasn't thrown a lot of innings in a long time, so we need some more depth, right? Because these guys, we're going to have more guys hit the IL, and I don't. What was the asshole last year that Eichhoff? Was that the guy that?
Oh, Jesus,
that we ran out every time.
Every time. They kept trying to cut him, and they're like, "Oh shit, we need." Well,
no one would take him. Yeah, no, they cut him, and then no one would take him. You'd reassign him to AAA, and then they'd bring him back up, throw another guy on the 60-day DL. So anyway, I think I'm feeling. How are you feeling about the Mets overall? We've gone through a bunch of scenarios. How are you feeling like right now on May 19th?
I'm feeling great. Despite all this just madness with the pitching staff, right? I'm feeling great. I think, as you mentioned, it's just a different feel this year. Last year was still transitioning away from the horrors of the Wilpons, and dude, you gotta love it. And you were dead on about Stevie. I didn't even see the reports, but that's what I was expecting this year. That this is all fucking in.
Yep.
And I see 100 wins. Even with these injuries.
I love it, dude. I love it.
I do.
89 was what Dougie said when we did our preview.
No more.
And I went bullish, and then when the DeGrom news came out, I went bearish? No, I went bearish,
yeah.
And then I went bullish when the DeGrom news came out. And, yeah.
I was 89 after Jake, so I was like, low 90s before the Jake news.
So I think I feel the same way. I think our division is shaping up to be, that's where we play most of our games. I don't see the Phillies turning it around. I don't see the Nats turning it around. We
got their number too. Yeah. We got the Phillies number.
Yes, we do, which is nice. Fuck Ben Franklin. And we haven't played Miami yet, but I mean, they got some good pitchers, but I think we're going to be okay against Miami. And Atlanta's going to give us a run for our money. They're not done yet. They're not dead yet. They're still hovering around 500. It's only the end of May.
No. Do not count the Braves out.
I don't.
That's something that could go wrong later in the year for us.
And just so you guys know, I am going August 17th down to Truist Park to see Braves Mets. So if anyone wants to join me, book your tickets now.
If Max Scherzer is pitching, I will not be there.
Yeah, you're not allowed to come. So, well, let's take this to the next step. We've done a lot of Mets talk. We got a big night tonight, though, Doug. We got a big night tonight. Before we move on to the meat and potatoes of what we want to talk about today, we got a big night tonight. Are you prepared for our Dynasty League fantasy football draft?
I am prepared in the sense that, in the first round, I'm at number 7, which is kind of a really annoying position. There's a really safe pick, I think, and there's some home run swings. And depending on maybe how many zero gravities I have, shout out. There might be a big swing and a miss, and I can't wait. Honestly.
Oh, dude, I can't wait either. So I'm picking 12th because that's what champs do. They pick at the very end of the first round.
Yeah. In this league, I guess champs lose in the first round to Doug O'Keefe's team, and somehow still get to win. That's some participation trophy shit, as you're displaying here right now. That's American 2022. The losers win, right?
Hey, man, you just got to read the rules. You just got to read the rules.
So, I read the rules, but again, you lost.
I lost to you in the playing round.
You got another life.
But I also had the most points, so then I was also already had advanced. So I was playing with house money. So the only thing that could have happened was I could have knocked you out. And
right. Which you didn't.
Which I didn't.
And then all my running backs died. And
yes.
Congrats.
Well, let's not watch in the rear view. Let's talk. We're talking forward now. We got the 2022 DFF Dynasty Fantasy Football League draft tonight. You're picking 7. I'm picking 12. And for all you guys that don't know, it's a Dynasty League, so we're only picking offensive rookies that were just taken in the draft that we did so much coverage on a few weeks ago. Doug, Who are you taking with the 7th pick overall?
Oh, I can't announce that on here, but
nobody. This is delayed. No one's gonna get this until after the draft, except me.
Oh no, dude, I don't trust you. That's why you're gonna go fucking tell people whoever. I forget who's at 6, but
Jed. Jed is at 6. I already know.
Oh, see, a huge. I love you,
Jed.
No,
he's at 5. He's at 5. I don't know who's at 6.
Yeah, I forget too, but look, I think there's a pretty clear top 6, so it is kind of annoying to be a number 7. So I guess you can tell how I feel about Chris Olave.
Who do you think is the top 6? Because I just did the top 4 with Jed on the drive home, and we thought Breece Hall, Drake London, Trayvon Burks, and Kenneth Walker would be the top 4 guys off the board.
I agree.
And then who do you think? So he's at 5, and we talked about 2 guys at 5 that he was thinking. And so who would you think would? If you think those are the top 4, who do you think are the next 2?
Again, do not get on here or get on your phone and text him this. But, Jed's a smart guy. Jed's going to take one of Garrett Wilson or Jerome Williams.
Jerome Williams?
Mm-hmm.
Who's? Oh, you mean Jameson Williams?
Oh, Jesus, sorry.
So you don't think he's going to take Chris Olave? Because that's who we talked about.
Here it is. I hope he does. Maybe I've been looking at this shit for too long. And Olave is a safe pick, but
Jameson is the home run.
I would love Jameson on my team. So it also depends on context. I need a running back. I'm not going to get one at 7.
You're going to reach for one if you do.
Oh no, yeah, which I'm not doing. But my team is stacked at wide receivers, so I feel like a safe pick with Olave doesn't really move the needle. I'm gonna take a big swing. So I hope that's Williams. If not, there's a couple other guys that might come into the conversation.
I love it, dude. I love it. I think your head's in the right place, man. If I was an NFL GM, I probably would be fired within 2 years. But I would swing for all the home run picks. I would not be taking the safe guys because they're not game changers, right? You build your draft in the trenches. I mean, who am I? I'm not a fucking NFL GM, but I did go to school to be a GM. So. Anyway, I think I would take the guys in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. That's where you can get your interior line and exterior line guys. So I would go for these home run hitters, and I really wanted the Jets to do the same thing with Williams, but Garrett Wilson made more sense. Build the Wilson to Wilson connection, and you're not losing much between the 2 of them. So
honestly, if Wilson drops to me, I'll be thrilled too. By the way,
I mean,
I just want to say
Wilson, Olave, or Jameson at 7, you're sitting pretty. I think you're going to have one of those 3 there. And I don't think you lose with any of them if I'm you.
No. But again, I think I've talked myself out of Olave if he's the only one left, is what I'm saying.
Really? Why?
Yeah.
I would. I think he would be. He's the most ready of all of them. He's NFL.
I don't care about readiness. That's what I'm saying. I'm going for the landing spot, and I think in Dynasty maybe I overvalue landing spots.
I think the guy's gonna be the home run hitter in a New Orleans offense with a quarterback that only likes to hit home runs. It's like fucking Steve Balcony is their quarterback.
They put a bit of a muzzle on Winston last year.
Well, he got hurt. He got hurt.
And he got hurt.
He was playing, if you remember correctly, he was playing fucking amazing football before he got hurt, and the best football of his career until he got hurt. And he was doing it without Michael Thomas or any sort of reputable wide receiver. They had no wide receivers last year.
So do you think he's a top tier quarterback though?
Jameson Winston? No, but I think he's a guy that in that offense is with Olave is going to throw, like Olave is going to run a lot of fucking seam routes and nines in that offense. He's going to be the guy to take the top off because you got Kamara on the dump offs. Whoever I think they have Troutman as their tight end. I don't think they really use their tight ends very often. A little bit of underneath stuff. And then you're going to have Thomas is going to be the guy that works the middle of the field, and he's going to be your possession receiver. And then I don't know who they just signed Jarvis Landry, who's also going to be the slot guy. I mean, Olave's got 4.3 speed, and he runs he's the best route runner of any wide receiver that came out of that draft.
He's got that speed, but weirdly, he's just he can't break a tackle. I mean,
he can't. But If you're fucking got your guy beat and you got him beat by 3 yards and you catch a 50-yard touchdown, what tackle do you need to break? That's it. So he's the home run hitter, and Jameson Williams is also the home run hitter. You're gonna miss 6 weeks. I think Williams will probably.
That's we're talking dynasty here. Yeah, redraft. Right. This is an insane conversation. You're absolutely right on Olave.
Right.
What you haven't brought up is so I'll just name them. There's 2 other guys who are playing with Hall of Fame, who are going to play with Hall of Fame quarterbacks for at least 4 years. Although with Watson, who knows if Throw Rogan's going to be around in 2 years, or Aaron Rodgers. Whoops. But I'm and again, call me crazy and shit on this pick if I make it. But I'm leaning towards the gentleman in Kansas City. I'm not worried about
Sky Moore?
Juju. Yep, I'm not worried about Juju. I'm not worried about MVS.
Dude, everyone you just said at the 7th pick, I wouldn't double take any of them. Watson's got his bumps. Sky Moore's got his bumps. Olave's got his bumps, like we just discussed. Williams got his bumps. I think Williams would be the pick if he wasn't hurt, right? But he probably wouldn't even make it to 7. So that's why you're even getting a shot.
I don't think he's going to make it to 7, but
I don't know.
I hope I'm wrong. But the thinking behind Moore is that not just for this year. I don't think he's going to produce out of the gate, but that's okay on my team because I have a sick top 4. So sign me up for 4 years with Patrick Mahomes, man.
Yeah, I think your head's in the right place. If Sky Moore is there at 7 and you took him, I would clap my hands. I think Sky Moore is probably the second most NFL ready from a route running perspective. And I was actually listening to a podcast about the receivers for fantasy this year and kind of the NIF stuff. And,
anyone you want to shout out?
It was Bruce Feldman and it was the Athletic pod. It was Robert Mays and Bruce Feldman. It was really good. But they were talking about how NIF has just fucking totally changed college football for the last 2 years. And how Sky Moore specifically was a guy. They were talking about the kid from Pittsburgh that just transferred to USC today. I can't remember his last name, but he had accomplished everything. He was like, sorry, it was Bucky Brooks, not Robert Mays. But anyway, he had accomplished everything at Pittsburgh, and now these guys can enter the portal and they can get paid to do visits and go see schools, and it's not illegal anymore, right? All the fucking under the table shit is now on top of the table, right? So
for better or worse.
And
better for the players.
And what they were saying was Sky Moore was a guy that was similar to this guy last year. He could have entered the portal because he went to, I want to say Eastern or Western or Central,
Michigan.
Western Michigan. Yeah. And so he had accomplished everything. He was playing, mid-level conference, and he could have put his name in the portal, and he could have transferred to Alabama or OSU or whatever and gone, and then probably would have been the difference between a second and a first round pick. But the guy was loyal and he stayed and he broke all the marks, and that's what they were talking about is the loyalty is going to be something that's different in the next 10 years for college athletes because you're not going to have a real alma mater. You're going to be more of a mercenary that goes to 2 or 3 different universities before you actually get into the NFL. It was fascinating conversation.
Oh, dude, no, totally. I'm not a huge college football head because, we're from the Northeast. Syracuse has just sucked ass for 20 years.
Right.
I miss you, Donovan McNabb. But yeah, a lot of people are, really worried about the continuity and what they're used to. There's going to be a lot of change.
I think it's a good thing for college football overall because it just gets all the shit that was happening anyway out into the open, right?
Yep, exactly. I feel the same way.
And so I don't think that these guys are breaking their asses, and the programs were reaping all the financial rewards out of it.
Yeah.
So these kids should be able to get some sort of finance, because it's not like football's like baseball, right? Where you're playing. I mean, they have their television contract is probably better than the NHL's television contract.
Without a doubt.
All the universities make a shit ton of money off of their top football program if they're a top university. And they were reaping millions of dollars every year that these kids who were breaking their bodies for got nothing. Or they got it under the table, and then they were outcast if they got caught doing anything. So
Yep. Oh yeah, no, they're fucked. And I mean, the highest paid public employees in most states now are the football coaches, right?
Right.
It's. I mean, I think Nick Saban was, bitching about this the other day. But sorry, Nick. I mean, the way the world's changing. This is nothing but.
You don't have the boosters to get your guys to come play.
All that corrupt shit, which is corrupt everywhere. You want to argue that it was like a stable corrupt system, maybe, yes. But it was still corrupt.
Oh, dude, my father played football in the '60s for Division III Uppsala College. He was a third string safety, and he was a wedge buster and a third string running back. So he played mostly special teams. He was 5'7", 165 pounds, and he didn't get a scholarship, but he had a job that he got paid for every week, and it was to shut the lights off in the gym. Oh, yeah. And that was as that guy on that, third Division III, third string, like everything, barely saw the field, and they were funneling him money to.
They got everyone covered.
Yeah. So that was in the fucking '60s. So I don't even want to know what happened nowadays, right? But. Anyway, I hope Sky Moore is there for you. I have no idea what's going to be available for me at the time.
Oh, hey, look, I've changed my mind on this between the three guys I mentioned, Olave, Moore, and Watson. And again, that's just how my guess with how the six. I've changed my mind like 12 times today already, so I might do it again.
You reserve the right. I love it.
I do.
Yeah, I have no idea who's going to be there at 12.
At 12, did you like James Cook? Or what are you looking for?
I don't think Cook's going to make it to 12. I'm looking for the best player available. I may go Trey McBride just because the top tight end is going to be better than the sixth best wide receiver and the sixth best running back, possibly. It really depends on who's there. I know. Yeah. I know, but I don't think I'm not going to take Kenny Pickett because I don't think he's better than Davis Mills, who's my quarterback I'm building up. Yeah, so we'll see, and the audience probably is like, "What the fuck? We don't want to hear any more of your fantasy football talk." So
just real quick, like tight ends take so long.
They do, but
he's gonna start behind Ertz. But once that clears, that's a nice situation.
It's not a bad situation, but I don't know if I have to reach for him at 12. So.
I'm absolutely fucked at tight end, so I really hope he drops to the second round. I'll let you know that.
Well, there's plenty of developmental tight ends you can pick up. But let's talk about the thing we wanted to talk about. And let's give the audience what they want, because I'm sure half of them have already fast-forwarded through this. What do you feel, Dougie? We got our coach this week, and it was who we thought, but it was a week later. So Lane Lampert.
Who we thought we were. Yeah, no,
it was Lampert, head coach. New York Islanders. Like, what's your reaction to that? How do you feel? What are your thoughts?
It all makes sense. Last week, I was, I wanted to be emotional about Barry because he deserves it. I'm still going to miss the dude. This is the guy I figured we would hire next year. And I now understand why they didn't just announce it right away. They're going to give Barry the respect and give Lane his own day. And I'm happy with the move. I did not want any of those like big name free agent coaches that were being thrown around. I thought that would have been a disaster, even if you're just going for it for 1 year. So I like the hire, and he's been associate coach now for a few years. He rode with Trotz for 12 years or something, like 10 to 12 years. The big question is, and I'd love your opinion on this, is what's going to be different. And is he just going to be like a puppet for Lou? Did you think Lou was done with Barry, or did Barry say, I've had a rough year, I'm not extending, let me go now, and maybe I'll coach in Winnipeg? So what are your thoughts on this situation?
Yeah, so I think we covered all this stuff last pod. I think you're right. That's why they didn't just announce it immediately. We were correct about he already had his guy in place. He just, he was waiting for something. We just couldn't piece the last piece together about letting Barry have a week to like leave and Lane have a week to let it die down so he could get his just due as an intro to coach. So I think it was the right move. I know Barry already interviewed in Winnipeg. I think it was yesterday. So that's the one curveball that I'm not quite understanding. Maybe Barry was just like, the guys need a new voice. I've lost the locker room. Maybe Lou was like, the guys need a new voice. You've lost the locker room. Something along those ways. And you got to also remember, and I know it's semantics, but when he was let go, it wasn't the Islanders have fired Barry Trotz, right? It was the Islanders have relieved him of his duties. So I don't know if it was a mutual decision. Barry was happy for Lane. The fact that we kept everyone in place all made sense. Mitch Korn is retiring, so he's off into the sunset.
Right.
So I don't know, man. I think if we didn't hire Lane, he was going to Detroit.
They've been hot on him for a while.
Yeah, he was.
You're absolutely right.
With Yzerman back in college or whatever.
Yep.
I think we didn't. I don't think we wanted to lose him, and I think maybe Barry had a rough year. I mean, he had a
really rough year. I think we mentioned that last week. And Winnipeg is home. That's the only place where I'm like, okay, fine.
Yep.
If he ends up going like somewhere like Philly or something, though, I'm going to be annoyed.
The good news is if he goes anywhere this year, they owe us compensation. So
they do. Which you brought up and which I didn't realize. So we'll take it. I mean, Our prospect pool needs it, man.
Absolutely. Well, even if let's say Winnipeg takes Barry and they try to work out something, maybe we even get like a defenseman, right? Some sort of defenseman that. I mean, I'm sure it'll end up being draft picks, right? Because the draft picks don't have any value.
We'll take those too. I mean, Lou's been trading a lot of those. And
yep.
I think you're predicting he trades number 13, right?
I can't see any way in hell that we use that pick for a prospect. I think that pick is out the door. I think I think he's going to do everything he can to trade Bailey and get that contract up the books. And I will say that contract isn't unmovable because it's $5 million cap, but it's only
for
$1 million.
2 years.
It's $5 million cap for two years, and it's $1 million in salary. So a team like Arizona,
it's front loaded. Nice.
Yeah, it was a front loaded deal. So a team like Arizona that needs to hit the floor would love a contract like that, where they're only really paying $1 million, but they're getting a $5 million hit.
It's Arizona special, baby.
It's an Arizona special. Which, by the way, did you see they're moving into Arizona State University's rink, and and Arizona State said we will not let you put the Coyote logo. So they're going to play NHL games in a college arena with the college team's logo for the next 2 years. They're the Cincinnati Reds of the NHL. I don't even know what the whole purpose of them if they're trying to wait for a new owner. I don't know why they didn't just re-up at the place they were currently playing at. I don't get it.
And it's all been corrupt as hell. I don't know everything about the situation, but what I wonder is why Bettman won't let them just go. That's embarrassing. I didn't know that they can't even change the logo. Yep. I know the max occupancy is like 3,500 or something ridiculous.
Yeah, low. It's so small. And that was the whole thing when the Islanders were trying to go play in Nassau. Well, it's not an NHL size arena.
Right.
What?
And that was like 12 or 13 at that time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
So, I think Bettman, after everything that happened in the 90s, maybe he just said no team's ever moving again or something like that. That's the only explanation, because Quebec or name another city would love the Coyotes.
I mean, Quebec would do a backflip for the Coyotes. I think Kansas City and Houston both have really good,
Houston makes sense.
Good followings. But the problem with that is that they don't get the expansion fees from the people, right? I'm sure they can get some sort of fee for moving them, but it's not the same. And you got this bullshit ownership that's changed in Arizona. I don't know how many times, but
look, I don't want to get off on the Arizona Coyotes because Jesus, our ratings are plummeting. But two quick hits on the things you said before. If you want to really read into the tea leaves, Lane Lambert was coached 3 times over the past season, and guess whose minutes were down? Josh Bailey's compared to Barry's. And the other thing I'll mention is Lane Lambert's nephew. I don't know if you know this, is roughly the 13th ranked prospect in the NHL draft coming up.
Oh, I did not know that. What's his name?
I forget his first name, but it's Lambert.
Oh, there we go.
So
maybe that's the guy. But I do think so. You asked me, what do I think will be different? What's going to be different? And I think you just alluded to it. I think there's no veteran, hall pass
favoritism.
Yeah, I think Wallstrom's he's going to mix and match the lines. And I think he's going to open up. I think he's going to make the 3 bottom lines play their grinding style, and I think he's going to let Matty and whoever's on his line play a little bit more open. And
I think you have to.
You have to.
Hopefully Lou has realized this, and I think he has. Obviously, Barry and Barzal kind of had a fraught relationship at times, reading between the lines.
Well, so did Wahlstrom. I mean, those two guys.
I mean,
give them all of training camp together and let's see what we got.
Yeah, maybe Bellows gets a second life here too.
Well, I was reading we're hot after Fiala from Minnesota, and Bellows is a guy that makes a lot of sense for them because they don't have much cap room, and Bellows will only cost $1 million, and his father played there, and so it's a guy they can plug and play.
Makes sense.
So, I mean, it wouldn't be a straight up deal. I'm sure we'd have to put more in there, but please.
And you know about that R-rated video on YouTube with Bellows, right? When Trottier and like Rick Tocchet on the Penguins are chirping him from the bench. If not, look it up. I can't really say some of the things that they said to him during the clip, but look up Brian Bellows, Brian Trottier on YouTube. Yeah,
can't wait.
It's good stuff.
Cool.
I think it's definitely a word you can't say on TV, or at least one of them.
I love it.
So
I'm gonna be,
but not a hateful one. But
I'm gonna Google it right after we get off the show here. All right, Douglas. Yep. Anything else you want to add about this new coach?
No, it remains to be seen, but it's the guy I wanted, and I think you agree. So.
Yep, I think it's the best of a bad situation, and I am happy to see it turned over, and we don't have a lot of turnover. New voice. Hopefully, we can make it work and get the most out of these guys offensively. So
next year's a new year.
A new year. All right, audience. Dougie, what do you got to say?
I've been waiting to say this one, and via con Dios, John Tavares and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Once again, you do not get out of the first round. You do not. You do not, Pajama Boy. You do not. Enjoy. All right, audience, till next time.
Produced by Heartcast Media.